They say elephants never forget. Their memories hold every moment with perfect clarity. But what happens when memory becomes a curse? When the face of your enemy haunts you every night? This is the story of Kavi, an elephant whose memory didn't just hold the past. It fed his rage day after day, year after year, until hate ate everything he once was. And now, after all this time, he was finally ready for revenge. 5 years ago, Kavi was different, young, strong, gentle. He protected his herd in the wide savanna. His younger sister played in his shadow. His family trusted him to keep them safe. Life was simple. Life was good. Then the dry season came, and with it came Zara, the lion. Zara wasn't just any lion. She was smart, cold, deadly. She led her pride with sharp claws and sharper mind. When she found Kavi's herd at the waterhole, she didn't see other animals. She saw food. She saw weakness. The attack came fast. Kavi fought hard, but Zara was too clever. She split the herd, drove them into the tall grass where her pride waited in hiding. Kavi's mother fell first. His sister ran into the chaos, her cries filling the air. The herd ran in panic, stepping on each other, stepping on Kavi. He lay there, broken and alone, as Zara stood over him. She looked down at him with cold eyes. In that moment, she didn't just hurt his body, she broke something inside him. And Kavi remembered. He remembered everything. The smell of blood, the sound of his sister's cries, the feeling of dirt in his mouth as he lay helpless, his mother's last breath. Every single detail burned into his mind like fire on skin. The years after changed Kavi. Where once stood a gentle protector, now stood something dark. His eyes, once warm, became empty. He trained every day, pushing his body past pain. His tusks, once smooth and white, he sharpened on trees until they became weapons. Every morning, he saw Zara's face. Every night, he heard his mother's cry. Other elephants told him to let it go, to forgive, to move on. But they didn't understand. Elephants never forget, and Kavi wouldn't be the first to try. Deep down, a small voice whispered truth he didn't want to hear. It told him that revenge was turning him into the thing he hated, but he buried that voice, pushed it deep. His family needed justice, and he would give it to them. The morning Kavi made his final choice, the savanna was quiet. Even the birds seemed to sense something had changed. He stood at the edge of his land, looking toward the far mountains where Zara ruled. His reflection in the water showed an elephant he barely knew, eyes cold, tusks sharp, body hard. He wasn't the same elephant who had loved and protected. He was something new, something dangerous. He turned toward the mountains. His huge shadow stretched across the grass. The last bits of doubt left him like smoke in wind. Kavi was ready, but revenge has a price, and he was about to learn just how much it would cost. Mini-hook, when hate becomes your only friend, do you even notice when you lose yourself? Kavi's journey took him through lands he'd never seen, past red rocks where monkeys watched with nervous eyes, through thorn bushes where even the wild dogs moved away. His size, his focus, his anger, every animal could feel it. This elephant was different. This elephant was dangerous. Along the way, he saw others who needed help. A young zebra trapped by wild dogs, an old giraffe stuck in mud. Both looked at him with hope in their eyes. Both waited for the gentle elephant they'd heard stories about. Kavi kept walking. Their cries faded behind him. The cold in his chest grew. Not just distance from his herd, but something deeper. A numbness that spread through him, freezing the warmth that once made him who he was. But he told himself it didn't matter. Nothing mattered except finding Zara. On the 7th day, Kavi reached the old elephant graveyard. Huge bones lay everywhere. Remains of elephants who came before. There stood Tembo, the oldest elephant alive. His tusks were cracked, his skin more wrinkled than old tree bark. But his eyes held something that cut through Kavi's anger. Wisdom, sadness, truth. Tembo had known Kavi's mother. He saw her kindness, her wisdom. And he saw none of it in Kavi's eyes now. He spoke of how hate blinds even the strongest, how warriors lost to revenge find their enemies but lose themselves, how that death is worse than any enemy could bring. Kavi turned away, his body stiff with rage. But Tembo's words stuck in his mind. Unwanted, nagging, persistent. They whispered that justice and revenge aren't the same thing. And Kavi had forgotten the difference. For 2 days after leaving Tembo, Kavi felt eyes on him. Someone was following. He turned, tusks ready, prepared to fight. It was Kaida, a young elephant from a herd Kavi once helped. Small tusks, scared eyes, but brave heart. Kaida begged him to stop, said everyone worried, said Kavi wasn't himself anymore, but Kavi's heart had grown too hard. He told himself the old Kavi was dead, the one who let his family die. Good riddance to that weak fool. Kaida spoke of the good Kavi had done, saving herds during floods, helping countless others. But Kavi exploded in anger, told him to go back, to forget about him, to stay safe and leave him alone. Kaida stood there, hurt but stubborn. He was everything Kavi used to be, innocent, hopeful, believing in goodness. He said elephants never forget, not even when someone wants to be forgotten. Kaida walked away, but didn't go home. He kept following. Far back, quiet, worried. Finally, Kavi reached Zara's land. The air felt heavy with danger. Trees had claw marks, bones covered the ground. Death lived here. Kavi stopped at the border. His tusks were worn from the long walk. He felt Kaida somewhere behind him, still watching, still caring. For a moment, Kavi stopped. Memories of his mother came. Not her death, her life, her laugh, her gentle trunk, her wise eyes. A voice inside him tried to speak, but he couldn't listen. Deep down, he knew the truth. This wasn't for his family anymore. This was for him, for his pain, for his hate. Kaida called out from far away, begging him not to go forward. Kavi looked back one last time, then turned toward Zara's territory. His shadows stretched long across the grass. In the distance, he heard them. The pride, and somewhere among them was Zara. There was no turning back now. The moment before revenge. Is it victory, or the last chance to save your soul? The jungle went silent as Kavi walked in. Lions, scattered. They knew danger when they saw it. And there, lying like a queen, was Zara. She was older now. Scars crossed her golden fur. Her mane had lost its shine, but her eyes still held that coldness, that cruelty. She stood slowly, calm, almost amused. Kavi towered over her, tusks like spears, but she showed no fear. She spoke of his strength, but questioned his wisdom. Said, strength without wisdom is just destruction. Kavi's mind flashed back, the waterhole, his mother's last look, the stampede, fear everywhere. His mother falling, Zara's cold words about being powerless. The memory lit his rage like dry grass catching fire. The earth shook as Kavi charged. Zara moved fast, ducking and striking. It was raw power against quick grace, elephant against lion, victim against killer. Kavi caught her with his trunk, slammed her to the ground. Dust rose around them. She tried to get up but couldn't. He had won. Finally, after 5 years of hate, training and travel, he had won. His foot raised over her, his tusks pointed down. One move and it would be over. Justice, revenge, everything he'd worked for. But then he stopped. Silence fell. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Kavi looked into Zara's eyes and saw something he didn't expect. Fear. Real, deep fear. The same fear he'd seen in his sister's eyes that terrible day. Zara told him to finish it, to do what he came for. But Kavi couldn't move. His mind showed him pictures, his mother's face, not angry, not demanding revenge, just sad. disappointed. Then, Kaida's young face, Tembo's wise eyes, the zebra he'd ignored, the giraffe he'd left behind. What had he become? The question hit him like a physical blow. He'd spent 5 years becoming strong enough to kill, but in doing so, he'd killed the part of himself that made him worth saving. He'd become exactly what Zara was, cold, cruel, dead inside. Kavi lowered his foot, stepped back. The rage that had burned in him for 5 years started to fade, leaving behind something he hadn't felt in a long time. Emptiness, but also relief. He spoke then, his voice hollow and tired. He'd come to avenge his family. But if he killed Zara, what would change? His mother would still be gone. His sister would still be lost, and he would have to live the rest of his life as a killer. Zara, bleeding and broken, asked why he stopped, why he didn't finish what he started. Kavi's answer was simple. Elephants never forget. But he didn't want to remember himself as someone who let hate win. He didn't want his memory of this day to be murder. He wanted to remember the day he chose to be better. He turned away from Zara, walked toward where Kaida waited. The young elephant's face showed relief, pride, hope. They walked together into the sunset. Kavi wasn't the same elephant who left his herd weeks ago. He was stronger now, not just in body, but in spirit. Not because he got revenge, but because he chose not to. The savanna stretched before them, wide and open. Birds sang again. Life moved. And Kavi, for the first time in 5 years, felt something other than rage. He felt peace, because elephants never forget, and Kavi would remember this day forever, not as the day he got revenge, but as the day he got himself back, the day he learned that the hardest fight isn't against your enemy, it's against the darkness inside you, and winning that fight, that's real strength. If this story touched you, I want to hear from you. Have you ever held onto anger so long it changed who you are? Have you ever had to choose between revenge and peace? What did you choose? Share your story in the comments. And remember, real strength isn't about never falling. It's about choosing to rise as someone better. Hit subscribe for more stories that make you think, and I'll see you in the next one.